What's going on, everybody? This is Marcus Speaks. I'm Marcus. I am the channel host. I'd like to say, how's everyone doing today? Um, I made a 10-minute video uh, the, the last time, and I would just like to emphasize on that video just for a brief sec. Talked about Nipsey Hussle. Nipsey Hussle was a very important figure in the rap community. You can say he was the new age Tupac that we have. So I would like to say with his death that death death comes, but death shouldn't come in a way that was brought to him. And I would like to say that I have condolences for his family. I would like to send prayers out to his family, and we should stop all this killing that's out in the world. So to dive into today's subject of the day, I want to talk about relationships. We've all been in them, we all have them, and we all do them. We have all types of relationships that we go through, even if it's romantic relationships or just platonic friend relationships that we have. But I want to delve into romantic relationships. And I would say that I have a fair share of relationships that I've been in before, but sometimes not all of them come within a good a good time span, or I should say um a good area. So there's certain questions that you ask yourself when it comes to relationships, like am I the one to this person? Is that person the one to me? Should I think about marriage? Should I think about having a family with this person? Um, you shouldn't you shouldn't actually do stuff like that, but if you feel as though that um the person that you're with is very special, you want to have a relationship with them for a long time, then that's something that you talk talk to with your significant other about. So let's what we should delve into is how to go about being in a relationship. So no one has the handbook to relationships. So we all go about it in our own little way to um, go about being in relationships. So, I've had several girlfriends over the 30 years that I've been on this earth, and I should say that I've had good ones, I had bad ones, and you don't know which one's good and which one's bad until you're in a relationship, which one's crazy and which one's sane. I've had my fair share of them, I should say. So, um, when you break up with someone, it's hard. It's very hard, and you ask yourself all the time, how can I get over somebody that I cared about badly? Well, this is one thing. You take time. You take lots and lots of time. You take as much time as needed to get over that person. So the old saying goes within us being males that the only way you get over a bitch is you get another bitch, which is true in a sense, but if you think about how much baggage we take on when we're in a relationship mentally, that that baggage carries on into the next relationship. So what you want to do, you want to take as much time as needed. And even for women, women are very emotional creatures. And as women, you guys hold the the flame for carrying on emotional baggage. So what I feel as though that you guys should do, and what men should do, we should take as much time as possible away from a breakup. We should get to a point to where when we where we're broken up with someone and We don't, we're having those mixed feelings of how to feel. That should be the time where you should get back to yourself. You should understand who you are again, because within a relationship, you sort of lose yourself. So when you lose yourself, you really don't understand how to go about a day to day, and being with someone by being with someone every day. Being with someone every day and sharing, time with someone, and then that time is no longer shared, then you sit back and you're like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do right now. I'm lost. I don't, I was with this person for several months, several years, and I don't know how to go about my day to day. And it's hard because you have to get back to who you was before you guys met. So I dated a young lady for a while, and you know, things was going good. We was on the same page with everything. We had fun. We goofed around. It was a perfect relationship within the aspects of what we was looking for. And when we had broke up, it kind of got hard after we broke up because it was like I spent every week with this person. You know, sleepovers, dinners, movies, fun activities, stuff like that. And when it all, came down, to us breaking up, I had to go back to who I was. So, with that being said, I took several months away from dating and talking to other females and stuff like that, just so I could have a brief moment in time to where I could go back to who I was and what I wanted in a relationship. So, it all came to pass, and, I started dating again, and, I've met several good young ladies that have sparked my interest in, having a relationship with. And I would say that out of, the time that I've taken, I've found out about myself that the one thing I do not want in a relationship is I don't want dishonesty. I don't care how much it hurts my feelings and how much it makes me um, second guess if I should be in a relationship with this person. I feel as though that honesty is key in a relationship, because not only are you getting someone's raw emotion of how they feel about a certain situation, but also you get the aspect of peace of mind, because you don't have to ask all these questions over periods of times of hours, days, months, weeks, and stuff like that, because something's not settled with you. So that's one thing that I hold very um, dear to what I want is honesty. Honesty is key within to me within a relationship that will work, because when you guys are with someone and they're dishonest, that means you can't trust that person. So how is it that you can't trust someone? So how is it that you can say that you want to be in a relationship with someone that you can't trust? So that's something that I found out about myself that is key to me to um wanting to be in is honesty. Another thing that I found out with the time that I've taken is that I want someone that's fun. The relationship that I was in was very fun, and I didn't want it to end because we had so much fun. We laughed, we we joked around, and we played pranks and stuff like that. We wrestled. A lot of females that I was with, they were on the aspect of them being within their own selves and being very down and having low self esteem about themselves, and they didn't feel as though that they were enough for me. And I like to say that, when I'm dating a woman, I'm not just dating you because I feel as though that you're cute. I'm dating you for the simple fact that it's several things that I look at. I look at your intelligence. I do look at your physical appearance, but that's not all. Uh, I see if you can make me laugh, stuff like that. If you have all of these things and I'm into you, you have nothing to worry about. But I do have a wandering eye, but I do know within myself that, hey, I'm with this person and she makes me happy. So, it's no point to try to make them unhappy. So, another question that you should look at is, when should I date again? Like I said, it takes time. Um, for guys, I know we uh tend to date right after we break up with someone, which is fine. It's fine. And you shouldn't stop the momentum that you feel as though that you can grasp. Hey, I was in several relationships for 3 years, and it was constant girlfriend after girlfriend after girlfriend, which, some lasted 2 years, some lasted a year and a half, some lasted, you know, a year, 3 months. But I was in a constant, perpetual motion of being in a relationship after relationship after relationship after relationship, which was fine. I saw females that I liked. I wanted to be with them. I didn't want to just have it be a fling. So I made it to where I wanted them as my girlfriend, which you know stuff was most of the relationships was good. Most of the relationships was bad, but I digress. But take as much time as possible that you feel fit to take, because it's it's your life. Live it the way you want to, and I can't really tell you, you know, take 3 months off, take 6 months off, take a year off from dating to find yourself. Only you know how long it'll take for you to find yourself and get into that next relationship. There's no book, there's no video, there's nothing that can tell you how long you should take to away from dating and being in a relationship with someone. It's not out there. Only you know that. And I feel as though that um with the time you take, you find more stuff out about yourself. As I spoke of a little bit earlier, how much time I took, and it's only up to you. To be honest, there's nothing more that I really can say about that type of question. I can't answer it any other way other than only you know how long it takes you to go about being in another relationship with someone else. Um, I feel as though that with that being said, another question that can come about is, how should I how should I go about dating again? So that's the tricky part, because with everything that you've find about yourself and everything that you want in a relationship and everything that you see in yourself that you want to see in someone else, what qualities you want to have in someone else. Me, myself personally, I came to the factor that all of my weaknesses that I have, I want for my significant others, uh, that I want in my significant other, all of my weaknesses, I want that to be her strengths. Because, I lack in certain areas. So it's really more of a, it's really more to be a teaching moment. And you always want to have teaching moments, and you always want to be able to share with your significant other back and forth, because not only um do you and your significant other can learn from each other, you guys can look back and be like, oh my gosh, babe, you remember when I was going through that and you showed me how to do such and such, and we got through it, you helped me through it. That's how you guys grow together in your relationship. You When you find stuff out about each other that uh is lacking somewhere, and you want to help your partner grow, that's how you guys can grow closer. Now, I understand that you also have to grow within your relationship by yourself without any help, but there's certain aspects within your relationship where you can actually help your partner get through, and you can look back with them and be like, look, you remember when you was going through that little situation, and I personally saw it, and I was like, hey, let's work through this. And you work through the situation with the person, and you guys were you know going through a lot around that time, and you got through it. So that's one thing how you can you know go about dating, because the you should always search for qualities that better fit your interests, because some qualities that you look into someone, if you have those same qualities, what's the purpose of having someone mirror you? You'll never learn, you'll be bored in your relationship, and you'll never grow in your relationship. Um, but let me talk about um let me let me dive further into having someone have uh being strong in areas where you're weak. Um, you always should um you always should try um to learn from your partner every day. Since you're not in school anymore, it doesn't mean that you're still not in school. You're in the school of life after graduation from high school. You're in the school of life. Even if you go to college, you're still in the school of life. You start the school of life after you graduate high school. Um, I feel as though that when you search for certain qualities, and you should have strengths in certain areas with you have strengths in certain areas where people have weaknesses, then that's when you teach the person that you're with, and vice versa. Um, you always should uh, be very kind, be very patient. My my cousin has a rule. It's a simple rule. It's called the cup technique. It's a three-part thing that anyone can do. It's called the cup technique. The C stands for communication, the U stands for understanding, and the P stands for patience. With these with these simple aspects and rules that you can go by of the cup technique, just think of a cup. Within that cup is empty. What you have to do with that cup is fill it. What do you fill it with? Well, you fill it with all kinds of shit. You fill it with emotions. You fill it with under fill it with emotions. You fill it with things you guys been through. You have to fill your cup, and with that, you have to communicate, which is always key in a relationship. You have to understand your partner, which is always key in a relationship, and you have to have patience with with your partner, which is also key in a relationship. If you run your relationship off of this technique, I'm pretty sure you guys will always be together, and you will always have a way of saying, "I do this because I do this. I do what I can do for my partner because I know if I communicate with her and be patient with her, that I understand her. Is You'll never go wrong." And I think I would have to say with that, yeah, like you should always try within your reach to always um relate. I would say this: relationships is like a guessing game. It's always new. It's always something that you have to go through, and it's always something that you have to sit back always and think, "Am I doing this right? And if not, what am I doing wrong?" No one's perfect. No one has the answers. No one, can say, "Well, I'm a guru in relationships." No one is. No one is at all. Um, and I will say that my last question, or maybe last question, um, no, that's not my last question. What should you do about your broken heart? Now, not everyone goes through this because I feel as though within the era that we're in, not too many people show passionate emotion anymore. It's more so within them. Excuse me. um, it's more so. I feel as though with relationships now that it's more my way or the highway type of deals. And what I don't really like this culture that we're in when it comes to relationships because I don't want to blame certain aspects of shit, but you got love and hip hop, and you got certain music of today that really don't. I like some of the music that's out now, but it's certain it's certain things that I feel as though that men and women look at of today. I would say from how I guess they describe my generation. I'm guessing I'm a older millennial, and I don't really feel like a millennial because I feel like at least I know more than what some most of these millennials know. So um, but with the whole uh how to get over a broken heart, or how do you deal with a broken heart, it goes into all my other questions. You have to take time. Uh you have to figure what you want. You have to figure what you want to do. You got to figure, what do I want in a relationship the next time I get in one. Like it all goes in together. It's all a big snowball. You have to figure how. Well, number one, you have to analyze yourself. Number one, you have to figure how bad was the relationship, and can I get over it as fast as possible, or do you need time with it? I would say with that, it it's just a time thing. Like, it's nothing that I can really say that's, But also with that, another question can come about is, will I ever get over my ex? Now, I see this with girls mostly, or girls, or women, or whatever. It's that one perfect guy that they were with, or it's their first love, or it's that guy that, maybe they were in fucked up relationships and they found this knight in shining armor, and they lose that guy. And, you know, I see it a lot, man. And I feel as though that uh, you can get over that person. Um, but you this is what I feel like you have to do. When you break up with that perfect guy or that perfect girl, don't go about your next relationship and finding that person in someone else, because you can get yourself hurt like that. And I say that because I was dating this girl, and we hit it off. It was sunshine, but I felt as though that she kept comparing me to her last relationship. So I asked her, I said, "Hey, what's your last relationship that you had? Because you talk about it a lot. Um, are you comparing me to the guy that you're not with anymore?" So she said, "No, no, I don't feel as though that, you're like him, you're different." So I'm like, okay, I let it go. So as time progressed and, shit was getting good, uh, there was an argument, and then it got put out there where she was like, well, if you were this person, they would have never said that. And that's when I knew, okay, that girl isn't over her ex. So I had to bow gracefully. It's like, okay, there's nothing that I can do about this shit. You're obviously not over the person that you were in love with. So it's more so better for me to leave than to stay in this. So I left. Um, I don't know. Um, I feel as though that if that never happened, me and her probably will still be together to this day. But it's certain red flags, and I watch the Steve Harvey show sometimes, and one show in particularly he had where he was telling the women, uh, and I say this for guys too, but he said that don't don't start don't collect red flags. You should always, and that kind of hit home to me, because with that being said, when you see one red flag, you just don't let it go. You have to make a choice when the first red flag comes about. Even when warning signs come up, you have to make a choice. Do I stay with this person and see if this behavior is her normal behavior, or do I just leave? And I've never been a proponent to tell someone when they're in a relationship and they see something, you leave. I've never been that type of person. But I will say with all of that is, if you continue to see someone show you who the fuck they are, get the hell out of there. Now, I'm not saying when someone shows you who they are, get away from 'em. I'm saying when you are in a relationship and you have certain aspects of what you want to go about, and they have uh ways of showing you that you're that of how they go about things, like let's say they get mad about something and they act like a child. You don't want that type of activity to keep going, because it could be detrimental not only to you, but it can be very detrimental to the relationship within its entirety, because you have someone that hasn't grown up yet. And it's a doctor that I follow by the name of Dr. Umar Johnson. He always says, "What is someone's pain body?" He calls it the pain body. And what is the age of that pain body? You could be 30 years old. I'm 30 years old. My pain body could be 18 years old. It could be 13 years old. It could be 7. But you have to see that in the person that you are with, because you you don't want to go about keep encouraging um behavior like that, because it's never a good thing at all, because um you don't okay, well, I would say that you don't want to discourage anyone if they've been through a lot in their life, but you have to make a choice. If do you want to keep going about being with someone that acts a certain way or whatever? Like, I've been with a lot of girls that act like children, and I didn't leave within me seeing it, because I was young. I was mid 20s, late 20s. I'm still learning about the world. I still am now. But I will say, when I saw the behavior at that time, I learned from it. So now I know what not to deal with. And I would say that right there is can be a good teaching tool for when you see someone uh, act a certain way, and you view that behavior, that you should learn from that behavior. So, let's say you break up with that person and you get into your next relationship, and your next relationship your significant other of the next relationship acts the same way that you saw your ex act. That's when you know, okay, maybe I shouldn't be in this. Maybe I should just be their friend. Maybe I should just leave them the fuck alone. Maybe I should just get the hell, run away from as fast as possible. But that's not something that you really want to keep dealing with within your growth in life. Like, I hear my mom and I hear this lady that I work with, Miss Shirley. I don't deal with a lot of dumb shit no more, because I'm grown now, and I'm an older woman, and I don't deal with that certain types of shit, which you can learn from older people. I can say I have a lot of older friends. Mainly it's people that I work with, or people that I know. You can learn a lot from older people within their 50s, their 60s, 70s. Like, they've been on this earth so long, and they've been through the stuff that you're about to go through. But I would say that I am an advocate of not living your life vicariously through someone else. Go through those situations so you can learn from it first. But it never hurts to have help, or a helping hand in going through. Hey, this person said that this is what happened. I saw it happen. I see it happening now. I know how to deal with it. I had help. So, hey, this is how I'm gonna deal with it from now on. which is fine, which is good. But what you should always know is you should go about living your life the way you want to live it. You should go about your relationships in a way where it better suits you. You shouldn't look at other people's relationships and like, oh my gosh, I want that. Like, I know within the black community, we all want to be like Martin and Gina, or uh, James Evans in Florida, or um, what's another black couple I can say is a strong example in the black community from TV. Um, I'm drawing a blank, but anyway, we all want that, which is beautiful. James and Florida Evans, beautiful relationship. Martin and Gina, beautiful relationship. But you can't live your life in the aspect of this is what I want. You can achieve it, but you can't go into something without having the proper tools or whatever. So, um, with that, you you might ask yourself, so I have all this to do. How do I get back on track? Well, you get back on track like this. And I say this mostly more for women than I do for men. Um, do you, for women out there, do you know your worth? Do you know what what you, do you have a model of a man that you see as a good role model, a good, uh, a good guy that you see, like, is it your father that you see as that person that you looked up and was like, when I grow up and when I get married, the man I want to have, I want him to be like my dad, or the man that I want to be like when I get married, I want him to be like my grandfather, or so on and so forth. Maybe it's some male role model that you saw, like, hey, this is the type of guy that I want when I grow up. Um, it goes back to the first two questions. Give yourself time, ask yourself some questions, make sure um, you're serious in what you want to do. And I will say for guys, don't be a knucklehead. Like, okay, we're guys, we think we're the man all the time, but whatever. Make sure that, and this is one thing, fellas, that ladies like when uh you're dating them, especially if they meet your mom. Women are judging you off of the way you treat your mother, because you have to remember, your mother was the first woman you've ever came in contact with. So the way you treat your mother will be the way you treat every other female in this life that you have, the same. So any knucklehead girls out there that don't look at that type of activity like, hey, how does he treat his mom? If you're not looking at that type of activity from a guy that you're dating, then you're bound to fail. And I will say this for guys, look at how your girl's father treats her and go off of that. Because if your girlfriend raves about her dad all the time, oh my gosh, I have the greatest dad in the world, I have the greatest dad in the world, blah, 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 then you should try to learn from that and be like, okay, she's used to this guy doing this, this, and that. The only way that I know that this relationship is going to work is if I try to at least mirror half the shit that he does. So I would say with that, you should try to always, I would say, you should try within a way to get yourself at the point to where when you're just dating someone, ask yourself these key questions. Do I see this going anywhere? Is this just for fun? And do I want to be serious with this person? Ask yourself those questions when meeting someone. If you answer them however way you want to, I don't have an answer list of how you answer those questions. It's up to you of how you feel about that certain person. Because I would say within the 30 years I've been here, I would say I was never thinking about that at the age of 25. Well, I was in a relationship at 25, but if I analyze that relationship, I never asked myself those questions going in. I never asked myself those questions when I got into my next relationship. Never asked those questions when I got into the next relationship after that, and I never asked those questions when I got into the next relationship after that. I never ever thought, hey, where do I see myself going with this? Where do I see myself with this person? I don't want to just be wasting people's time just to be wasting people's time, because you don't get that time back. I want to tell you guys, when when you're in a relationship with someone and you're bullshitting your time away, that means you're bullshitting that person's time away. So that person can get that 3 months, that 6 months, that year and a half, that 2 years, that 3 years. They can't get that back. You block that person from being. You block that person from being in your relationship, from being in that relationship you guys were. You block that person from finding the person that they can be with, that they can have fun with, that they possibly could be with forever. You block that person for that amount of time. And I would say that probably within my early 20s, I was that guy. I was the blocker. I got with the girls and was like, I don't really feel like this shit's going anywhere, but I'm gonna waste this person's time because I have time to waste. That's very selfish. Don't fucking do that. Get the fuck away from that person. Make sure that you're not in somebody's way to where you're bullshitting their time away to where you wanna just be bullshitting time away. No, you don't do that at all. Get a sip of water. My next question, I think, would be for you guys is need how can I word this? If you need to get okay, the question is, how can I get over someone and how to do it? This is how you do it. Because usually in relationships, your your time is occupied by your significant other. So usually you don't get to see your friends a lot. You usually don't get to spend time with your family a lot. You usually don't get to go to the places that you used to go to. I'm that person that you usually don't get to do things how you used to do it because you and the person you were with made a way with each other where you guys did new things with each other. You tried new stuff, so it's all about grounding. And I will say this within like a scientific way. Uh, 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 from an anatomy aspect of like mental health. Um, it's this thing. It's this thing that is in. Um, I'm not sure what field it's in, but I know certain physicians and certain like holistic doctors um, suggest that uh, to walk outside barefoot, go to the nearest patch of grass, dirt, whatever, and just stand there. And if it's sunny outside, from you having your bare feet stood in the grass or dirt, just being on land, period, you ground yourself. And by grounding yourself, it's a flow of vibration that the earth is on, that your body should be on, to where when you ground yourself, it it, it just strips away all types of like stress and like I would say impurities of the mind, not just impurities of the body, but just impurities of the mind. The sun is out. You're getting vitamin D on you. Your skin needs it. Just you're just a flow of energy and vibration at this point, to where when you walk away from that patch of dirt, you start your day or whatever. Because they say you should do it every morning when you wake up for at least like 5 minutes or so. So the aspect of what I'm trying to get at to the of a relationship grounding, you the way you ground yourself, look at your family, your friends, the things you used to do, the things you used to have fun with doing before you got with your significant other, or after you leave your significant other. Be around those people to ground yourself again, to recognize who you are again, because within all aspects of us being in a relationship, we lose a piece of ourselves because we're taking on someone else's energy, somebody else's flaw, somebody else's strength, somebody else's weaknesses, somebody else's everything. Like, you're taking on that person's essence. So you have to try to strip yourself away from that to try to get that piece of you back that you had before you met that person. So you don't come half-ass to the next relationship. And I say that because uh they say relationships are 50-50, which I feel as though isn't true, because half of 100 is 50. So you're half-assing yourself in a relationship by only doing 50% of the work that you need to do. What you need to do is come 100% every time. Every relationship is 100%, 100%. And I say that because we get into this flow of listening to other people's relationships and other people's ways of how they do things, and not saying that it's a bad thing, but we we go about it in a way to where we try to mimic the other person. We see Claire. Okay, that's another example. Claire and Cliff Huxtable. We try to mimic that relationship. We try to mimic Martin and Gina. We try to mimic shit like that. Like, instead of us trying to come within ourselves to think, this is the person I've grown so much. This is the person that I've grown to be, and this is the person that I want to be. And the growing's not done yet. And we look at all this other stuff like, hey, I saw this. This is how I want to act because this is what makes those people happy. So how's it that I can make myself into this type of way? Like, no, you shouldn't think that way at all. How you should think is, how can I, within myself, go about being with this person? How do I treat this person? How do I figure or how do I get myself ready to be with this next person? So I would say it takes grounding. It takes grounding yourself because your friends, your family, they have your best interests at heart. And if you have friends and family that will steer you the wrong way, then they probably aren't the people you should really be around. They, you personally, should um, always think, um, if I go about uh, being around these people and learning something new about myself and coming back down, being grounded by these people and getting myself to the point to where I understand what I'm supposed to do, then that's when you're ready. There's no there's no timer into you thinking, hey, well, I've done this much so far. I've been away from dating this much. I'm ready. No, get back to the people that serve your interests better and ground yourself with that information that you gathered. It's not always gonna be you asking them questions and them giving you answers. It can be to effect to where you're around them, and I would say I would say personally within the first couple weeks or so or month of you breaking up with your significant other, that you'll start asking questions like, hey, I feel as though I did this wrong. Where do you think within the aspect of me asking you this question of whatever the question would be, where you think I went wrong at? Okay, if you have family and friends that care about you, they'll let you know. But, most of the time people don't like getting into other people's business. So, because I'm a type of person where I mind my own motherfucking business, but have those types of people around you that will always that will never steer you the wrong way, because if you have people that are bitter and you have people that hate to see people in relationships and hate to see people happy, then you need to get the fuck away from those people and you need to find new friends. You can't change your family, but you may not want to share your information or how you think and feel with these people. But digress. So, with that being said, my final thoughts in all of this is never go about a relationship the way you went about your last relationship, because you're only it's gonna be a groundhog's day type of situation where you're gonna keep reliving the same stuff over again. You never want to do that. Go about, I would say, with guys, if you didn't act a certain way towards one significant other, learn from what you didn't do and treat that next girl that you're with the way that you didn't treat that last girl. I say that for females too. If you didn't treat your guy that you were with one way, if you guys break up with that next person that you get with, treat them the way that you didn't get to treat that person you was with before. You'll see lots of results of how you could have went about something, and then when you go and look back at what you didn't do, and then what you're doing now to please the person that you're with, then you'll see a payoff within yourself. Like it'll be like uh, it'll be relief coming over you. Like, oh my gosh, like I didn't know that doing that felt so damn good, and it will. And I would say, to close this out, that never live your life vicariously through someone else, and never think that you're inadequate in doing something, and don't think that you're not good enough for something else, for someone else, after leaving someone that you were madly in love with. So, with that being said, I'm Marcus. This is Marcus Speaks. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and please hit that bell, because I will be bringing you new content every week, and I hope to make this blow up and be helping people with their relationships, or just just kicking it, just them ask me questions about certain shit, and me just helping them through it. I'm not any type of doctor or love guru or anything like that, but I do I would say I do like to help people. And with that being said, thank you for listening, and I will see you on the next one. Peace.